Nicole, as a reminder, we are live on YouTube right now. Um, so I'm going to share it to Class Dojo for parents.
Okay.
And right now I'm moderating as I am not allowing anyone to unmute themselves, and I'm going to let them know that they're live on YouTube. So if they don't want their camera on.
Okay.
So I'm going to actually
You want me to let people answer the questions?
yes, I will explain that. Yes, and I'm saving my PowerPoint to the desktop right now.
Okay.
Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, you can go ahead and I'll start allowing people in. I'm going to mute myself for a moment while you do that. Hello, parents. I just want you to know that we are live on YouTube. Your photos are not showing. However, if you're concerned, you can still turn your video camera off. But if you were to go check, it's either going to be my picture or Mrs. Peterson's picture because she's a co-host. But other than that, you're not live. But this information is live on YouTube, and we will share it later, or it'll be saved for you. So we'll just give maybe 1 or 2 minutes just to let more people in, because it takes a while. It kind of turns when you're logging in. I'm sure many of you have experienced that already. And so we will be answering your questions. All of you are muted. You won't be able to unmute yourself. We're doing this as a Zoom meeting because I can actually let up to 300 people in the room. And for people who can't get in the room, that's why we added it to YouTube. So your questions will be answered in the Zoom chat, or your questions can be answered in YouTube. So between the two of us, we'll answer your questions throughout. There is time period where we will have questions and answers. And I am aware that not very many people may show up, but that's why we are recording it, because I was more worried about whether or not parents can get into the teachers' Zoom meetings this afternoon. So again, parents, just so you know, you are muted. You shouldn't be able to unmute yourself. If you are, we will try to mute you because we don't want the extra feedback. If you have questions, go ahead and answer the questions in the chat on Zoom or live on YouTube. The YouTube link is on Class Dojo.
I'm still admitting.
That's okay. Just keep admitting.
Okay.
They'll be coming in, and I know they'll be coming in slowly. It's okay. And go ahead and mute yourself.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll get started. For those of you that are new, welcome to the Gus Franklin Back to School afternoon, night. Again, it will be recorded for other family members if they want to see it. It is unlisted, so it won't just show up. You actually have to have the link to find it. My name is Dr. Mina Blazey. For some of you, you know me as Mrs. Mina Blazey. I'll take both. I did finish the dissertation for those of you that traveled with me those 4 years and knew that I had a lot of homework. Our assistant administrator is Mrs. Nicole Peterson. She is in the room as well. She's moderating for me and answering the questions via Zoom. I will answer the questions via YouTube at the very end. So feel free to ask as many questions as you want. If we can't get to them, you can email us to get to them too. Okay, so again, questions and answers. We just ask that you put them in the YouTube or Zoom chat. I am going to try to update just one more time on just to make sure that I mute all. And Mrs. Peterson, as a reminder, you can go to participants, click mute all, and then not allow anyone to unmute. So as they come in, they might be able to still unmute themselves, but you can update that. Briefly, because the LCAP is going to be slightly different this year for those of you that know about the Local Control Accountability Plan. I'm going to talk about emotional well-being because that's the most important thing right now for all of us. I'm going to go over distance learning again, the Chromebook and hotspot exchange with the librarian, our office hours, our support staff, positive behavior interventions and supports, volunteer trainings. Yes, we will have them, but it will look very different. Student assemblies, the grab and go meals as a reminder, and then learning continuity. What does that really mean? I will introduce our school site council members. Hopefully they're here. And then we will have some questions and answers. Now, some of you are thinking, but where's some other information? As a reminder, when we had orientation, I really unpacked some things. So that YouTube video is still available. I will repost it after this meeting so that you can look at the orientation. So if you're very new, there's some information. And then this is some additional information. So Title I and LCAP. So Title I is a supplemental funding. It's for all students. It comes from the federal government. And we get that money because we typically state test. Well, we haven't state tested last year, but we still will be accountable for our students and their assessments and their attendance and what they're doing. So work with us. The funds usually support our socioeconomically disadvantaged. It focuses on, again, the whole school and how we can supplement what they're doing. And what that will look like is very similar to last year and the years past, is that we will do cohort groups, individual and groups of 10 or under, whereas teachers will be offering tutoring at the end of the school day or in the morning. Most of ours will do morning because we're a later start school. The Local Control Accountability Plan is the plan that as a district and the community with teachers and parents and all stakeholders come up with together. And it's a list of specific goals that we address. However, it's going to shift a little bit with the learning continuity and attendance plan that will be created over the next month. And that plan really is going to focus on participation, engagement, and attendance. So there's a difference between participation and engagement. That attendance is huge. I'm so grateful for those of you that have been able to redo your schedules because both of you are essential workers, or you're a single parent. I've been there, so I greatly appreciate that. So we want to work with you. So your emotional well-being, and it's not just your child's emotional well-being. Some of you think I'm exhausted. You just get to see my bags because I have on contacts today. So take breaks after school, take breaks on the weekend. You know, quality and quantity of time are two separate things. It's not about how much time you spend with your kids, it's about the quality. So stop what you're doing, look at your children, allow them to look at you. My daughter, she's now 20. She's in her third year of college. And I remember when she was 5 years old, and I'm just typing away and doing what I'm doing as if I'm listening. I'm not. So if you're not engaged, she literally grabbed my face and turned it. That's when I realized that I need to give her quality time. If it's 10 minutes, they want you to read a book, do that. Those are the things your kids will remember. Build a puzzle, do a fun craft, go in the backyard and play in the mud. Why not? Go for a walk. You can safely go for a walk. If you feel like you're going to be around a lot of people, just always have your mask with you. Give the parent a break that is at home. So I'm going to give you an example. Mrs. Peterson, her husband is the parent of her identical twins at home. By the time she gets home, she just says to her husband, just go, because that is exhausting. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like we're not exhausted, but the point is that parents who have to be the educator and the classroom aide and the principal now and the assistant principal and the custodian and the nutrition services, like you're making it all. We provide it, but you're not cooking it all. You're doing it all. They deserve a break. I have 4 children, but my youngest is 17. She can make all of that on her own. So please give the parent at home a break. Sit outside, listen to each other, share how you're feeling, and just listen. It's okay to be upset and angry and confused, but if you can just get it out, you'll be okay. Because I trust me, as I do the same thing. I will call up my husband or I'll talk to him and say, I need a break too. So we have counselors available to work with your students. So remember that. I have Mrs. Peterson's email down there and Mrs. Padilla's email down there. Email us, call us. We want to support you. Don't let it get to the point where you're hiding in the bathroom and the kids are putting their fingers under there and they're like, I found you. That's what my kids used to do. Okay, so distance learning. We're going to talk about what this looks like. I know that we talked about asynchronous, which means that face-to-face, that live interaction with your teacher and the child or the student. And then that synchronous learning where they're engaged with some type of engagement activity. So your child participates the moment that they log in. However, are they engaged? Are they doing the work? Are they actually submitting the work? So we need both of those things. So preparation for, this is preparing them for college, because half of it is online like this, and the other half is doing it on their own. So I know it's going to seem like a lot for some of you, but I believe that we are really allowing our kids to learn together and it's painful, but once they get past it and they get through the routine, they won't be exhausted anymore. I mentioned one day, actually, to a couple of the chief academic officer in the past and our chief personnel officer. I'm like, I feel like a new principal. I was a new principal in 2014. I feel like a new principal. Teachers feel like a new teacher. Students feel like, what is happening and why are we doing this? They want to see their friends. So allow the pain, allow the struggle, and allow the conversation. Something that we're noticing, comments in the chat should always be helpful. Please do not put other students down. Remind your children, because now you are helping them, guide them. Whatever they put on social media is permanent. And we will go over that when I do the assemblies. Speak with encouraging language. For example, I like that idea. Have you thought about doing it this way? Or I appreciate your help, and much more. Just, it should be positive. We talked about this at orientation. Please have your children get out of bed, brush their teeth, put on their clothes. Most of you that were here last year have a uniform. Let them wear the uniform. There's really no reason why they can't. Now, if you can't get it, we're okay, but they should get up and get dressed. No like tank tops or halter tops. Just consider what is on camera. And what I mean by get dressed, moms, dads, put a shirt on. Remember not to walk behind your children and turn off the television, because we've noticed that your child will be, the computer will be here, the Chromebook, and they're over here watching TV. We know when they're doing that. They're smarter than you think they are. So remember, to participate during synchronous and asynchronous learning, we need to see them. We need that camera on. Please put the camera on. If you're telling us the camera's not working, you can come in and exchange it. We'll do that for you. Reminder, food and drinks away from the Chromebooks, because I'm clumsy. I will spill on my computer. So for me, when I have a water bottle, when I was in the classroom with as a teacher, I'd put it on the floor to model that. So put it somewhere near with a lid on it. And Orchestrator, if you don't know this yet, and the classroom teacher has not mentioned it to you, Orchestrator is an app for teachers where they can see everything your children are doing. So we've noticed that some children are playing video games, because some of them are safe, but they need to be doing the learning. Like, we can see it and they're sharing it with me. So they're trying to encourage you to give them that academic freedom to learn, because the one thing no one can take away from you is your education. So please push them a little bit. It's okay for it to be a little painful. It's okay for it to feel like it's a lot, but sooner or later they're going to get into a rhythm and it won't be a lot anymore. Okay, so our librarian is Miss Madison Clemish. She shared her Bitmoji with me, so I was very grateful. You can exchange a Chromebook with her if you need a hotspot, or exchange it, because we've had that happen already. We really are trying to focus on our low-income foster and homeless will be the priority. If you have a special circumstance, call me. We'll work it out. We want you to have access. We know that sometimes mom and dad are working at home and there are 6 kids. Please come and get a hotspot. We don't want you to not have access. We will figure out how to get more. We are here to help. Our office hours are 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. That's the phone hours. And oh, sorry. It's reminding me to do this right now. Office hours, again, 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. That's because it's just phone, so that we can address our teachers and get their temperatures checked. And then the office hours where we're open, 8:30 to 3:30 p.m., the door is locked. If we can see you, just knock and we'll let you right in. We just don't want to have a line of people inside the office for the safety of our staff. Call us first for technology help. There is a help desk. I've placed that on Class Dojo, but believe it or not, we can address you faster. The office staff are well trained now. By trial and error, we can help you. Between Mrs. Peterson and I, we can get you through it. So allow us to help you with that. Miss Madison can help you. We will go out of our way to do that. And just breathe. Just take a breath. And yes, Mrs. Padilla, Vanessa, gave me her Bitmoji too. So I was excited about that too. So volunteer training. So yes, we are going to start having volunteer training. I'll post that. It'll be where we want you to have access to possible small group help with teachers. So we need you to still be volunteer trained. You're thinking, well, I'm already there. Why can't I be there? Well, we still need to make sure that you follow the right protocol. We still need to train you on what that looks like. And I want to make sure that you are able to actually work with the students and do the academic reading or do the mathematics or have the language of math, but we'll fully train you. But this is optional for teachers. So they may not need your support on that. However, when we return and we are allowed to come back once all the restrictions are removed, you'll be able to come too. The schedule will be on Class Dojo. We will have this in Spanish as well. It'll be me, and then I'll have someone interpreting what I'm doing as well. So don't fret, but we'll have it in Spanish. So student assemblies, we're going to start student assemblies just like we normally would. It's going to look two ways depending on the grade level and the teacher. So they will either be with the teacher specifically. Kindergarten probably will just be each class separately. And then as we get to the older grades, I will take the whole grade. It probably will be in the afternoon. I'll take them for maybe 15 to 30 minutes, and we will be working on our positive behaviors, interventions, and supports, anti-bullying, because it is clear that we do have few students that are having some trouble with the language they're placing in the chat. Also, the other thing is I really want to focus on some like TikTok and Instagram, and I don't know if your kids have Twitter, but if they do, I want to address that, and Facebook and other apps that they're using, Snapchat. Everything they put out there is permanent. Even though Snapchat disappears, I can save it, I can screenshot it, and I can still have access to it. We have had some students that have had some issues via TikTok and Instagram already. And some of you as parents don't even realize your kids have access because they have access to your phone. They have your password and they do it anyway. So I think the age is 12, but if you're monitoring it and you have their passwords, that's up to you. But really consider that. Those of you that have kids that are gamers and they are playing Fortnite at a young age, you really need to monitor that. I think they should be playing Animal Crossing, and some of your kids are very upset that I just said that. But it does stop them. It takes over part of the brain that triggers things and gets them worked up, and they tend to go into some negative behavior. So I'm not saying video games are bad. Some of our teachers are some of the best gamers ever. I will game if I have time. However, it can take over, and it's a stimulant, and it'll keep them up because there's a blue light effect. And if you don't turn the the TV off or the games off at certain times of the day, they can be overwhelmed. So consider that. So we'll talk about cyber etiquette. We'll talk about our character counts, our 6 pillars of characters, and we will be doing some awards. Why not? And, of course, this time I will invite parents, so like we normally do. So that'll be kind of fun. So those are just some of the topics, but we'll go over other topics too, because I'm sure some of you want some other things. So I might even do some parent classes where we are talking about how we're going to help our community and what we can do to get through this, because we literally are building the plane as we fly it, and we need to have all of the parts, the fuselage and the wings and the rudders all put together before we land in June. So we're going to need all the moving parts to get that going. So Zoom links that are different than the teacher when we do the assemblies, I will post them. I will go out of my way to make sure you get them. But if it's the teacher's classroom like kinder, I will just log into their Zoom. So basically I'll take over for about 15 minutes. Make sure my phone doesn't go off again. Okay, so grab and go. Here are the times. I think I have it worked out for those of you that felt shunned because you didn't have an ID or the student IDs that we gave out last year. But the folder that we gave you with the ID number on it works. I have a formal letter in there that came from me. That works. If you have the student ID or show them Class Dojo on your phone, that works. If you have your ID as well. But remember, please remember that just go to one place. And we didn't do it here because there's 3 schools. It is at Melva Davis if you're here, but you can go to any one of these places. So please go pick up the food. The recipes are awesome. It's on the district website under resources. Actually, the grab and go is on the first page too, so you can click on it. So either you can go to parent resources or you can go directly to the first page, which is fantastic. I saw some of the meals and I want to try some of those meals. Okay, so this is how we feel right now. Let's just own it. This is our reality. We're just like, can we just make this go away? Because I am exhausted a lot and I'm thinking, why do we need to be exhausted? So this is actually how we seem to feel a lot. However, let us support you. We have family resources. Just let us know. I don't know what I don't know. So you have to tell us. And some of you are comfortable enough to come to me If you don't know me, email me. I will stop what I'm doing. If I needed to give you something on the weekend, I'll do it. We want you to feel supported and feel like you get what you need. On the other hand, you have to also remember that teachers are exhausted too. This is all new for them. Please remember that when you are in the room with the teacher, and what I mean by you, I mean your student, and you're off in maybe the corner, that let your child learn. It's their learning opportunity. Kindergarten teachers have said that if they need you, they're going to say, okay, parents, and I need your help. They will tell you that. If parents need your help, they're going to verbally tell you that. So please allow your child to learn. You might hear us as educators be firm, like, I need you to stop that, Johnny. That's not okay. I need you to stop hitting your sibling, because we're seeing the siblings in Zoom. We have the most loving teachers. They want your children to do well. They're also they're learning this as they go too. So if you can just imagine that. So just like you're learning it, it's a different perspective for them. Give them grace. Please do not attack teachers. If you want to attack someone, call me up. You can yell at me. I know some of you do. I'm okay with that, because I know it comes from a place of pain and frustration. And then we're going to sit down, and then we're going to be okay with it. 6 feet away, of course, though, with a mask. So, because we want you to feel like this, even though sometimes we're like, and you got this. You got this. We got it together. We're going to do this. We're going to learn together, and we're going to get through this. So, as Mrs. Peterson slides on in here, let's keep everything organized. One of the things she does with her own children, because they're younger, is she makes sure they put their items away. The Chromebook doesn't need to stay out if they're not using it. If they have manipulatives, like the math manipulatives, please put them back in the bag or the box that may have been given to you, depending on your teacher. It needs to be put away. It will give them structure. They will know exactly where it is. There is nothing like your child waking up on a typical day, Mom, where's my uniform shirt? Where are my pants? Because they're in the dryer, or where is my library book? So if they have books that the teachers have given them, those consumable books that they write in, let them use their backpack. Why not? If you purchase them, put it in there, put it in a spot, keep it away from fluids and other foods. If you have a pet, I do, they're guilty. Don't let the cat pee on it, put it somewhere. Allow students to have their own personal space. It doesn't have to be a big space, but that space just away from their bed, because you want them to get up. Just like you wouldn't like it if I sat in my bed and did this presentation. So remember the perspective of the people on the camera. Now, kids don't see what we see. So they get on camera, and the only person they look at is themselves. They're so like, oh, and what is that? And what's in my teeth? And the older they get, it's even worse. So we see it all. They don't have the same perspective. So remind them of what they're supposed to look like. Make sure they brush their teeth, make sure they've eaten breakfast, maybe in the other order, and be fully dressed. So let them be not just good, but great. Let them work on that. So we need your help. We need to work together. The parent at home, you are now the honorary assistant principal. So we W that. So you get to say, I don't like that. I'm disappointed, and you're not going to be watching TV tonight. You can take things away. So the biggest concern that we have are parents calling saying they won't listen to me. They're 7 and 8. Well, my 17-year-old doesn't listen to me. But if you don't listen to me because I made a recommendation, you don't get to drive the car. Hopefully your kids aren't driving the car. You can take the iPad away, and they're going to, if they're not used to this, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. They're going to scream, they're going to fall on the floor, and they're going to kick it. Let them. Do not give in to that. Their job is to be a great student so that life is easier later. They will be okay. And you're going to let them get upset, and you're going to breathe, and you're going to walk away and let them do their thing. And then when you're going to come back and say, are you ready to hear me now? And if it takes you 3 days to do that, fine. If your kids don't go to bed at a reasonable hour and that's keeping you up all night, or they're up and you're not, no, you need to go to bed. You need to be ready for the morning. It is okay to tell your children no as the assistant principal. And then you can say, you're not listening to me as the assistant principal. I'm going to have to actually call the principal. We will talk to your children. I don't yell at your children. I might be firm, but I'm going to listen and let them get it out and move through it. Now, you can yell at your kids, and I'll be honest, I've yelled at my kids. I am human. But let us help you with the discipline. Discipline is to control oneself. It is not the meaning of punishment. We are not in the business of punishing kids. We are in the business of helping them learn the discipline of learning, of mathematics, of language arts, the ability to do what is best for them and to control themselves. If we don't teach them at a younger age, I can give you examples of people that turn into adults that can't control themselves. And you moms and dads, when you go to work, you know that one person that can't control themselves and they lose their job. Give them the gift of self-discipline. If they're in 3rd or 4th grade or 5th grade, they're going to get a little bit more work than they're used to. That is okay. But let them get through it. Remind them to take breaks. You know what? You're not online right now. Take a 2-minute break. Go for a walk. Go to the backyard. Go jump on the trampoline if you have that. I don't, but maybe you do. Do 10 jumping jacks. Get it out of their system and have them come back. This is a season, because then when they're 16 or 17 in high school and a senior, they're going to be able to do this on your own, and you're not going to have to chase behind them. That is the gift that you will give them. I give you my word, it works. If they have trouble reading, you have the right to read them the chapter. They can read it again. You have the right to tell them the word if they don't know what it is. They'll be okay. And remember, take breaks as a family, after school, on the weekend, safely. I highly recommend safely. Distance learning has to be practiced. Just like doctors, they learn, they practice, they have a practice because they are practicing. When the NBA comes back and the NFL and Major League Baseball, they practice that. They do that all the time. So we have to practice this, and we're going to be great at this. We're just going to get better at it. So positive behavior interventions and supports. Here it is. Remind students to what to do. Avoid saying what not to do. That's a gift. So remember when you were at the pool and that lifeguard said, don't run. Well, what did you do? You kept running. So tell kids exactly what you want them to do. Instead of say walk, instead of don't run, or say, I need you to work on your assignments. Use language of encouragement. Great job. I like how you focused on what the teacher was asking you to do. If you do this for your students, the teachers will be able to get more information in them. Our goal is to have what we call collective efficacy, meaning our personal self-efficacy, meaning we like what we're doing and we love learning mathematics and we do well at it. They will be fine. I'd like to congratulate our school site council members, Naomi Flores, Brandis Ukwije, and our alternate member, Alexia Ronquillo. So congratulations. Our first meeting is this next Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Everyone's invited. It's webinar format. However, we will give you time to speak if you wanted to speak to the board. And it's going to be a training. So if you want to come, I think it's fun, but you may not, but I'll make it fun for you. So before I do questions and answers, I do want to reshare my screen because I kind of want to introduce you to a couple of people that work with us. So this is Mrs. George. She works with Mrs. Marino in our special day class. This is actually Miss Martha. She works with Mr. Lemec. Miss Madison, you saw her Bitmoji, which was awesome.
We're not seeing your pictures.
Oh, well, let me go back. Let me reshare. We will start over. I can do the start over. Can you see him now? Can you see it now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect.
I'm going
to go through the, okay, good. Thank you for that. So Ms. Madison. And we also have our Ms. Sonia, who is in our front office. She's the clerk. She can answer any attendance question you ever want. I'm going to go back to the beginning. So you see Ms. George, again, in Mrs. Marino's class. We also have Ms. Martha, who works with Mr. Lemec. And then we have our wonderful, now on the left, these people you don't actually see all the time, but Miss Kana, Miss Danielle, and Miss Kim, they wanted me, I asked for their last names, but some people just want me to use their first names. They are our bus drivers and we don't get to see them all the time. So if at any point you ever get to see them, thank you. They've been packing the supplies for you, putting everything together for you, and spending a lot of time with us. So we're very appreciative. They are modeling 6 feet of social distancing as well. You know and love Mr. Andre Holloway, who's not just our custodian, but our basketball coach. Mrs. Maricela Flores, which is our night custodian. We also have Aaron, who actually, we didn't get a photo of him, but we will sooner or later. We have a couple of our proctors here, Mrs. Liz Martinez and Mrs. Raquel Aguirre. So just some people that if you're new, you haven't met yet, because the proctors are there with you on the playground. And by the way, the playground is all finished. I'm going to play on it tomorrow and take some video and send it to you tomorrow. So, and we have Mrs. Padilla. Some of you know that they're experts in technology now. So they've been doing your technology, almost like we don't need all that extra support because we're trying to do it all here. So you don't have to go anywhere. They have been on the phone for hours sometime helping parents through situations. And I'm very grateful because it allows everybody to work together as a family. So I'm going to stop sharing. And then now we are going to have questions and answers. Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Yes.
So Mrs. Peterson, have you been able to answer some of the questions?
We don't have any questions in the chat box.
Oh, I did a great job then.
Awesome.
Yes, you did.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you know what I'll do is I'm going